Welcome to the Actor's Choice, where the actors have a chance to talk about themselves and their careers. Join us now for the next hour as we explore the marvelous industry of acting through actors and actresses from today's exciting show business world. And now, here's your host, Ron Brewington.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ron Brewington, and welcome to the Actor's Choice. Our guests today are representatives from an ever-expanding alliance of artists, educators, parents, social justice activists, and youth. They call themselves Fringe Benefits. Here to speak about the group is the founder and artistic director. Please welcome Norma Balls.
Oh, thank you.
Oh,
thank you.
such
Thank
a
you.
pleasure
Thank
being
you.
with
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. You know, first of all, I just want to say that when I was told about your group from a lady she's one of my students over at Santa Monica College, I said, we got to have them. We got to have them because there's something unique and different about your organization. In a few words, tell us, what do you do?
Well, the main thing that we do is bring together all those diverse groups of people that you just mentioned.
Okay.
Community members, school members, and artists and activists to collaboratively create plays addressing discrimination issues. And the plays aim to actually make a difference about those issues, whether it's reaching the people who are doing the discriminating and changing hearts and minds, reaching the people who are being discriminated against and empowering and inspiring them to stand up for themselves, or reaching out to bystanders and helping turn them into allies who are willing to help support the end of discrimination.
Since we talk about theatrical work here on this show, it's marvelous that you use the stage as the vehicle to send a message. That is marvelous.
It's a very powerful tool, having
Yes.
people in person, able to just see somebody in 3 dimensions in front of them, somebody that they've turned into a 2-dimensional object of hate.
Okay.
Suddenly that's a person who's 3-dimensional and a lovely human being that they have to recognize.
Indeed. Fringe Benefits, where did you get that name?
Well, in our early years, our theater company was working with LGBTQ youth, young people who had been kicked out of their homes, their schools, their churches, their communities, and living on the streets. And collaboratively creating pieces with 70-some youth at a time to reach out to audiences and say, this is what happens when we're not made to feel welcome, when we're not included. I've got a little picture of a book of the first 3 plays that we created with LGBTQ youth. And one other thing.
Yes.
Sir Ian McKellen has narrated a documentary about this work.
Outstanding.
And it's called Surviving Friendly Fire. So yay, Gandalf! Anyhow, so as we're working with these youth who are on the margins, on the fringe of society, it occurred to us, my then co-artistic director, Ernie Lafke, and I thought, we want to create a company that's about being of benefit to people on the margins who've been marginalized, but also showing the world that these people on the fringes have much to give society of benefit to us all.
Wow. Well, you've brought a video that we'd like to show right now about what it was, what you do at your organization. Ron, if you can run that, please. Now, as we're seeing right now, what exactly are we looking at right now? Tell us.
We're looking at snippets from a whole bunch of different projects that we did from 1991 to, I think just till 2004, you're seeing a project. One of the first people you saw in there was Joanne Woodward. We did a project of cootie shots, and we did bystander intervention workshops with the Westport Country Playhouse. You're seeing pictures here from Clothes Minded, which is our show that created by hundreds of middle school youth across Los Angeles. These are public workshops where people come together and they share their various skills in theater and social change. So there's Comedia, there's some of the kids from Animo Leadership High School. Here we're doing our Cootie Shots show, where we created plays, songs, and poems with over 400 kids, parents, teachers, rabbis, clergy, etc. I mean, it keeps changing so fast. I'm talking about a different project when we're seeing a new one. But the Cootie Shots plays that we created, we published them, and now they're being done all over the U.S. College students do them for elementary school students. High school and middle school students perform them for elementary school students, and elementary school students do them for Martin Luther King Day. And that's the end of it, because that just stops 12 years ago in our work.
Wow.
And since then, what started happening is, as we did our shows, we'd have post-show discussions.
Right.
And in those post-show discussions, people would start to think more about the issues that were happening in their communities, on their campuses, and say, we need more of this, we need more of that. And so we'd come and work with them on that. And they would say, this led us to creating a program where we'd go into schools and help them develop their own plays, which then they produced and performed for each other. And we started doing that not just all around the U.S., but in Australia, Canada, and the United Kingdom.
Wow, that's beautiful. That is beautiful, because these are young men and women with tons of energy.
Yes.
I tell Tom Cruise and all the other A-listers, get ready, because these kids are right behind you.
Wow.
Right behind you. Indeed. What's the youngest performer that you've ever had?
The youngest performer? Well, also, the young people write the material as well. That's one of the key things.
I was going to ask you about that. Who writes the material?
Oh, everybody. The youngest was pre-K. We did a show where we worked with pre-K kids through 8th graders at this school in Long Beach, and each of the classes were able to choose which discrimination issue they thought their peers at the school needed to hear about most. And it was a wide range of issues. And the pre-K students, I just remember that their piece ended up with, I'm 4 years old and I'm a person too.
Yes, he is.
They were dealing with ageism.
At 4 years old.
At 4 years old, we get it all sides of the spectrum.
Wow.
Sides of the spectrum, yeah.
It just blows my mind to see and realize where all these kids are coming from. You're saying you're based in L.A., right? But you're talking about Long Beach, other parts of the country we're talking about? About the world as well?
Oh, yes.
You're out there.
We're out there. We throw ourselves, what is it? You throw your heart out and then you jump after it. Yes.
What makes your organization different from any other organization?
A lot of things.
Please tell us.
Well, for one thing, most organizations that do theater, if they create their own work, they then perform it themselves. And more often than not, they're creating work that other people have. They're performing work that other people have created. In our organization, for 10 years or 15 years now, we've specialized in taking theater artists, theater activists, facilitators into different communities, helping them bring together a team and facilitating the devising, the creation of a new piece of theater that group performs. So that's really different. Another thing is that what we try to do is to find the spirit within the group that's there and say, who among you has an idea for the next project? And that's how the hidden heroes you're about to meet. This session came about. They were students and members of other Fringe benefits projects, and I could see the light in their eyes and the brilliance in their minds and the kindness in their hearts. I thought, you all are the ones to take it from here.
Now, some of these kids are fresh to school. They don't have that much experience in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you modify any rules of the stage or do anything a little bit different just to accommodate them?
Well, we have a lot of exercises that we do to help people start feeling more comfortable playing with each other. We try to create as a non-hierarchical an environment as possible. Mm-hmm. So we begin by sitting in a circle and laying the ground rules for discussion, and so everybody feels it's a level playing field.
Gotcha.
Your ideas are welcome. Please speak up. Mm-hmm. We have a step up, step back. So if you feel like you're taking over the stage too much, take a step back. Let other people jump in. And then the games warm people up, so they start to feel more and more like, I can do this, and they can, and they can. Like the West Wind Blows.
Yes.
Do you know that one?
I've heard of it, yes.
That's a great sit in a circle and one less chair than there are people. Mm-hmm. And the person in the middle says something that's true about them. Like the West Wind Blows for anybody wearing a flowery scarf. And then everyone who feels like admitting that they're wearing a flowery scarf stands and moves to a different chair.
Right.
And then a new person comes up. And I say, is willing to reveal, because sometimes someone may say something that someone in the group isn't ready to reveal yet. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And we want to make sure everybody feels comfortable to go at their own rate.
Yeah, exactly. And the beautiful thing is that's why I talk about the stage as a medium.
Mm-hmm.
Media itself, as you well know, there's a message, a strong message that comes from the media, and it persuades and convinces our young people today about, and informs them about things that maybe some of them are not ready for that yet.
Yes.
Whereas with a play, you could really work it in and work with it like clay. You can work in your fingers and move it around and do some things with it, can't you?
I like the way you put that. I see a connection between the two in terms of what I call marketing the revolution.
Okay.
So theater activism sweetened and condensed. What we try to do is to think ahead of time. Here's our formula. Okay. We want the group we're working with to think as clearly and specifically as possible about what's the problem we're trying to address.
Okay.
So not just racism. Are you talking about police brutality? Are you talking about racist joking in high school? What's particular form?
I hope Mr. Trump is listening to what you're saying.
Oh, I'm sure he's a good listener, isn't he? That's one of his specialties.
I think I hit a nerve.
Your lips to God's ears. I hope our whole community in the world awakens to what a grievous problem it would be if we ended up with that person leading us. So our formula. Our formula is you get very specific about the problem. Then you think very specifically, what solution do I want? Do I want to have the bystanders step in and help out?
Right.
Do I want the people doing the discriminating to cut it out? Do I want the people being discriminated against to get more tools for how to handle this problem? And then we think, who do we have to reach to make this happen?
Gotcha.
Do we have to reach voters in a specific area? Do we have to reach the 6th grade young people? Do we teachers? And then, okay, given that that's the audience we're trying to reach, how do we shape our play? Which stories that we've shared in this circle are most apt to open hearts, minds, and change behavior? And how can we add some humor or whatever? You know, our audience may be the kind of audience that likes to watch CSI. So shall we do hate crime CSI?
Right.
Are they the kind of people who like to watch The Daily Show? So we give a Daily Show kind of spin.
God, you sound like a chef over there cooking a big
Ooh, yeah, and we're all about more cooks in the kitchen.
More cooks in the
We're all
kitchen.
about that.
Now, you've amassed a large amount of artists, educators, and staff. Very impressed by what we saw. We got a couple of photos. I want to take a look at it. Can you go and run the first one, Ron? Okay. Now, who are we looking at here?
Oh, that's a picture of some of our fabulous board members sitting next to me wearing my scarf. Is
Trademark?
Oh, I got to wear a scarf.
Got you.
Catherine Hepburn thing, don't you know?
Got you.
You know what that means. Diane Doyle, who created South Coast Repertory's Young Conservatory and then was doing work at Disneyland and the ski slopes of the Olympics in Utah.
Okay.
And Sonia Seaver and Byron, who's next to me, the African American man with the right next to me, middle school counselor. Oh my goodness, there's so many wonderful people in this picture. With Mike and Lydia Gutierrez in the top left corner,
Right.
Whose child I met at a school for kids who were being kicked out of their schools for being LGBT.
Okay.
And he created a play. We showed it at schools around the Southland.
Okay.
It was Turn It Around. What's high school like if you're not straight, white, privileged? And they came to see it at a meeting of the parents, families, and friends of lesbians and gays. They saw some of the work their son had done, and then right after we showed that, we gathered the parents together in a circle and we said, our next job is to reach out to elementary schools with this message. What are your children experiencing? And their little girl in 5th grade was getting called horrible names by her classmates because they knew her older brother was gay.
I see.
So they worked with us, and they worked with Cynthia Ruffin and our whole team, administrators, parents, artists, to say, how do we shape this story so that it will be meaningful to elementary school students?
Gotcha. Because there's a lot of ignorance in this country,
Oh,
in this
there's
world.
a lot of ignorance.
A lot of ignorance. People don't know, just don't know basic things. They don't know it. And they don't understand having an open mind and a little bit of honesty there.
Oh, please,
Ugh.
yes.
If you do, you'd be surprised at things you could learn.
Wouldn't it?
Oh.
Oh, boy.
Ugh. Next photo, please, sir. Now, what are we seeing here?
We are seeing some of the fashion police. Well, they look like the fashion military there, don't they? And our middle school show, Clothes Minded,
Okay.
was dealing with how the isms come out in
Okay.
and around what people wear. Racism, classism, sexism, all those isms seem to come out around that. And
Now, these students, do they come from mixed schools? I mean, private schools versus public schools? Do they come?
oh my goodness, this show was written by pregnant teens, homeless LGBT youth, inner city youth, privileged youth from Palos Verdes, all youth all over the place. And this cast we did with a cast of professional actors
Wow.
who took the show around, as well as on the far right there you see the little gal with the short blonde hair.
Yes.
She had been one of the kids in one of those high schools. For
Nice attitude
LGBT
she's
kids.
got there.
Oh, she's got some good attitude. And Chris Anthony in the middle there runs Willpower to Youth, which is an amazing program. Got to have her on.
Okay.
Helping kids get to understand and create pieces about issues affecting their lives by reinterpreting Shakespeare plays.
Okay. Well, that's a good one.
Chris
Next
Anthony.
one, please, sir.
Oh my goodness, it's Deborah Wilson with the blonde curly hair from Mad TV. Donated her time to come into our projects at Animo Leadership Academy. It was an after-school residency. We're going to start it up again, and it brought to life the stories of Susan B. Anthony, Rosa Parks, Cesar Chavez, and Harvey Milk, and the civil rights movements that they worked with, and how the arts functioned in those movements. So Teatro Campesino with the Cesar Chavez and United Farm Workers.
You touch a lot of stuff.
Oh,
wow.
And then they created their own plays addressing those issues and using those tools.
Okay. Next photo, sir.
Oh, look at the dye job coming out of my hair so spectacularly well.
Now, that's you.
This was, such a moving project. Up in Spokane, Washington.
Okay.
We worked with we worked with Whitworth College and Brooke Keener, a professor there, and brought together community members and students across the socioeconomic spectrum to create a play called The Wizard of Spokane. And we had 4 people across the socioeconomic spectrum going arm in arm with Dorothy to find what's the solution to how we can all get along better. This is Jeffrey, and Jeffrey had 3 MAs, 3 graduate degrees, and was homeless.
Some people can't get one. He's got 3.
He was the inspiration to us for the character of the Scarecrow, the one that nobody believes has a brain himself either, worthwhile, and goes and finds. This is one of the people we've pushed to the fringe of society.
Right. Speaking of education, you're no slouch, Norma. You're no slouch. Co-director, beside being the founder and artistic director of this organization, you're also co-director of People Who Live in Glass Houses, Street Dish, and Friendly Fire.
Yes.
Lead dramaturge and contributing writer for all productions by the organization.
A lot of them, yes.
Okay, all right. Editor of Friendly Fire and Cootie Shorts, anthologies. Staging Social Justice is one. Okay. You have a BA in Masked Performance
Yes.
from Princeton University.
Yes, they
Ivy League. Okay. An MFA in Directing from California Institute of the Arts. Okay. Numerous awards you've won. Obviously, you love what you're doing. You're currently teaching theater for social justice at Loyola Marymount University.
Oh, I'm so lucky to be there. I'm getting to work with such lovely, smart people.
Yes.
And I can't wait till you meet them in just a few minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. Now, we got just a couple more minutes. We'll be with you. As an educator, I know as we talk about it, there's another film another photo we'd like to take a look at. All right. The next one is, okay, here we go.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
So one of the things I love teaching is Commedia dell'arte, and
Bless
I work. Well, thank you very much. And I do this Commedia dell'arte with a combination of Balinese wooden masks and Italian leather commedia masks and masks from Spain and all over the place. And it really, people get so loose and they have such a good time and they can focus on their comic timing. And my good friend Don Mica Radulescu, God bless you again, world-renowned teacher and writer Don Mica Radulescu said, you do commedia for social justice. So now we do plays sometimes with schools and community groups where they create a piece using commedia tricks and masks to address really difficult issues, but with such a sense of humor that the audience is a bit disarmed and can enjoy and then understand the problem better.
I love the way you use the word cultures.
Yes.
You work with so many cultures.
Oh, yes.
But communicating within those cultures.
Within, between,
Yes.
everything.
That's marvelous.
Oh, yes.
Marvelous. We can spend a lot more time. Next one, please. I have to get you back.
Oh, here are some of the contributing writers to Cootie Shots.
Okay.
And if and when you want to go to this, I can also show you what the book looks like.
Okay.
Cootie Shots is our collection of 56 plays, songs, and poems addressing a wide range of diversity and discrimination issues.
There you go.
And this is the one I was saying, people are using it all over the country and even in South Africa and Australia to address.
Interesting name, Cootie Shots.
I know, because what was it in elementary school? Girls sometimes thought boys had cooties and boys thought
you
girls
got
had cooties. But if you go circle, circle, dot, dot, you got a cootie shot. Then it's
Right.
just, it's crazy to think you're going to get something bad by reaching out across your differences.
Wow.
And these are just a handful of the hundreds of people who worked together and on their own to donate pieces to the show, including Tony Kushner created a piece for our play.
Now, you do have some advisors, celebrity advisors, along with your organization?
We're very, very
Can you name
lucky.
some names?
Oh, my goodness. I didn't bring a whole sheet to remember it all, but I must say that it is beyond belief an honor to have Joanne Woodward be on our advisory board.
Yes.
That just...
What an actress.
And we have a local Reverend, Denise Egger, on our board, and a Reverend, no, not Rabbi, did I say Reverend?
You said Rabbi.
Rabbi Denise Egger, and then we have Reverend Sean Eubank, who's based in Detroit, Michigan, working, and just lovely people. And there's our Bea Bernstein on the far right.
Yes.
We recently lost her, but she worked and created a beautiful piece on ageism. It's called At Your Age, where a little boy and an older woman connect about how they're talked about in the third person all the time. And so many cornerstone members in the middle there. Christopher Moore with his first baby.
All right. Another next photo, sir? That's it, okay. Specifically, I was curious. You have several specific programs, like Theater for Social Justice workshops. Can you tell us what does that mean?
Okay. Our Theater for Social Justice workshops are the sweetened and condensed versions of how we create our work in general.
Okay.
So we go to a school where we've had a production or where they're curious about doing our work, and in just 3 hours, We take them soup to nuts. Okay, we make them decide ahead of time. What's the discrimination issue this group wants to deal with, and what audience do you want to reach? And then share your stories. Okay, now what kinds of television shows, not what kinds, what specific television shows and movies or live theater does your audience like to watch? Okay. Because chances are your audience doesn't want to be hearing about this message. So let's treat them. Okay. Let's treat them with respect, and let's treat them, engage them, and make them feel like happy to be watching. And then they put those two things together. They pick a story that they think will reach their audience, open hearts, minds, change behavior, and they pick what modality. How shall we sell this? Okay. And then we jam. We use improvisation. Okay. To do this.
Okay. How about Theater for Social Justice Institutes?
That's when we do a slightly longer version. That's the one where we went around the country thanks to Theater Communications Group in New York. And, oh my goodness, Doris Duke and so many other great funders helped us go around the country and UK, Australia, Canada for 10-day residencies. And we'd have 5 4-hour workshops with the community members, anywhere between 30 and 50 people together in a room, jamming. And then our creative team, 2 or 3 people, would go back to the hotel room sweatshop and work through the night and through the day, transcribing, typing up all the notes, what everybody said, all the stories, and then how they said they wanted it done as a play. Okay. And we transcribed the improvisation notes. And everybody that we could persuade to come with us to the hotel room with nothing to offer but granola bars and hot chocolate maybe, would come, and sometimes for hours would be sitting, and we'd all be typing and typing away, creating these plays, and we'd take it back to the group. How do you like it? Oh, as you like the many cooks thing. Oh, it needs more paprika. Oh my gosh, too much paprika. Are you kidding?
Where do you get all that energy from?
Oh yes, well my dad and mom.
Gotcha.
My dad and mom were both very, very involved with lots of social justice causes. Every time I tell Mom the next thing we're working on, she said, "Oh yes, we did that work with the YWCA. We did that with Job Corps." And my dad did a lot of work with Olvera Street and with helping. Remember back in the days of Rexall?
Oh yes, the biggest drugstore in town. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he helped spread the wonders of Rexall to Poland and Nigeria, and then to help make sure there's black ownership and managership in the U.S.
Wow. Obviously, you need support for the things that you do.
Oh, my goodness.
Can you tell us what people can do to help you do what you do?
Well, we have so much great in-kind support of Loyola Marymount giving us office space and Xeroxing, and the opportunity to teach there and mentor, and Southeast Middle School where we did the project. The principal and the school supported the teacher being there with us and working in the classroom, and the teachers were great. I am no fundraising genius. Okay. So there are a lot of individual donors. Okay. And I've not been writing grants in a long time because it takes a lot of life energy to do that.
Yes, it does.
But financial support is, our programs are now ready to burst because the young people you're about to meet have come up with tons of ideas for how to do the next leg of work. And we sure could use some financial support.
You do publicity, like coming on this show and doing other things, I'm sure.
I did it in response to your invitation. I don't seek it out because I'm a nervous wreck speaking in public, and
could fool me.
Well, you make a person feel very comfortable.
We're glad to have you here.
Bless you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, miracle worker.
Definitely. Any future projects? Can you talk about that for a minute?
Oh my goodness.
Open that door.
Okay. 3 right off the bat that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
The next one's coming July 23 and 24.
Okay.
It's called our Downtown Women's Theater Project. And if you can show this one.
Please.
This lovely woman, Cynthia Ruffin, one of our lead artists for so many years, has been creating it over a couple years with women who are in homes and in lofts downtown, and also women who don't have homes. And it's about bridging that divide.
Okay.
And you're going to meet Savannah, Tori, and Daniela, who will be heading up the next leg of the Be You Hear Me Join Forces and Create Change project at Southeast Middle School. And through that, they're going to be doing forum theater through which their students will be teaching other students how to do the work, how to intervene as bystanders and become allies. And they're also making a film. Apparently, the LA Unified School District has our show that we just did on their radar, and now they want to show it to staff. The third one, Yuki Yamagiwa, who was one of my children's theater students at Loyola Marymount, is now going to be bringing back to life our Four Heroes project based around Rosa Parks, Cesar Chavez, Susan B. Anthony, and Harvey Milk, and doing it with English language learners.
Sounds like you got a lot on your plate.
Oh, very exciting
A lot on your plate. Any famous graduates from your program?
Oh, well, I would say that besides the women you're about to meet, one person I don't know if there's any good photo to show you of him, but this young man, Mark E. Rosenthal.
Okay.
He was originally one of the, he's in the inside part of there.
Okay. How's that?
He was one of
my hands in the
the
way. There we go. There we go.
first young men that and women and trans people that we worked with in our Friendly Fire projects.
Okay.
And dynamo. But when he joined us, he was on the street and hadn't completed his college education. He went on to Columbia University.
All right.
And now he is writing plays. He's been developing a beautiful play about Eleanor Roosevelt. And he's working now with homeless adults and developing programs with and for them that are empowering and exciting, and he's
Eleanor
amazing
Roosevelt,
and one of my best friends.
Eleanor Roosevelt, huh?
Yes.
She has a very close contact with a group of people that I work with called the Tuskegee Airmen.
Oh, yes.
There was a photograph of her getting in a plane and flying a plane around, and it led to her husband signing the program to start the Tuskegee Airmen. So when you say Eleanor Roosevelt, a lot of us who knew her and knew about it, we're very
And when you say Tuskegee Airmen,
We've talked about that off camera. Okay. Okay. How do you want to be remembered?
I don't. Incomplete but promising. It was something I got on one of my in-class essays in high school. I couldn't finish it, but incomplete. I thought that's on my tombstone. I'd like that one. But I just hope that the work that we all have been doing together, I'm looking at my beloved colleagues, can continue, and that the people that have been involved in it continue feeling the power and the ability to inspire others by doing theater for social justice, and that it continues to make a difference in the world, bringing communities together, ensuring that we're loving and not building walls.
Yes, yes. There's that name again.
That's that name again. It's about building walls.
Yes, building walls.
Not building walls, excuse me.
Tearing them down.
Tearing them down.
Yes, tearing them down. Yes.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. And that we will end up with a kinder, gentler world.
Well,
and we won't need this work anymore. Oh, my God.
Can I present that to you, please?
Now I'd really be crying if I hadn't seen this on the desk earlier. You're a class act.
Oh, it's pleasant. It's a pleasure. We only get an hour today, but we have to get you back here again.
Oh.
Because we just tipped it, just got just the tip of it.
Holy cocoa.
Many things you, because there's a lot of kids out here who need to find out about you in all sections of the city. And understand that there is a way out of the ghetto, out of the barrio, out of anything if you get educated and if you can have fun doing it. These three ladies that you brought with you, which we'll see in just a few moments, when they walk in the door, I can see the smile on their faces.
Oh, yes.
They really love what you're doing. Norma, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. And there's a ripple effect.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Now, we've talked with Norma Bowles for the last half hour or so, and her Fringe Benefits organization. and I hope that everybody had a chance to learn something about this organization. Can you give me a telephone number that I could pass to the audience?
I think it would be best if I could give an email address.
That sounds
Is that
good.
okay?
That sounds good.
Norma Bowles.
Norma Bowles
at earthlink.net.
at earthlink.net. Okay.
NORMABOWLES at earthlink.net.
All right. Well, there's a good. We'll pass that address again before we leave out of here today. Please have a seat, please. If you have any you want to make any contributions, you want to do something that can help these ladies out and the young men out and what they're trying to do, and we would certainly I'm sure they would personally appreciate that. Now, Norma, you brought along with you 3 young ladies who are what we call stars, and that's not rat spelled backwards, that's stars, who are teaching artists, etc. Ladies, welcome. Please tell us who you are. Introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Savannah Lewison. I'm one of the people who worked on this wonderful project with Norma Bowles.
I'm Tori DiGeronimo. I'm a senior at LMU, and I'm one of the co-leaders of the Be You Hear Me Join Forces and Create Change project.
All right, and the last young lady?
I am Daniela Corona. I'm also one of the co-directors of the Be You Hear Me Join Forces and Create Change project, and I got the chance to work with the 2 amigas. I'm the third of the 3 amigas.
All right. Now, explain your connection to Fringe benefits, please.
Well, I first met Norma when we took her theater, me and Tori at LMU. We took her theater for social justice class, and we loved the class so much that we started toying with the idea of actually going to a middle school and doing some of the things that we really had kind of practiced in our class. So we decided that we were going to do a residency at Southeast Middle School. We've been working on this for about a year now, and then lovely Daniela joined us and saved us with a lot of paperwork and other things, ideas that we needed help with. Do you guys?
Yeah, we were taking the Theater for Social Justice class, and me and Savannah met actually through that class. We were both transfers at LMU, and we totally loved it, and I think that Norma could see that, and so she approached us about working with her. So we started in the summer working with her, and that's what we're doing. And Daniela, she's with Espere Service Organization, and Norma, I don't know how you guys actually first met, but she came on board.
I was in a service organization, which is with all women, and we do work on modern slavery and environmental sustainability. And one of my peers in my service organization first met Norma at a symposium she was doing. It's Arts That Do Justice, with some of the sisters from our school, the Sisters of St. Joseph. And from there, Maria, my friend, started partnering and talking to Norma about how Espere could get involved with the projects. And that's how we eventually ended up with the kids, but we had our own festival days before I met Tori and Savannah, and by the time I met Tori and Savannah, they were already planning the next project. And that's when I realized Espere, my old service organization who had already been working with the kids, should partner up with them.
Okay. What is your goal? What do you want to be?
Me?
Yes, starting with you.
What I want to be, I want to now, because of working with Fringe benefits, change the world through every way of art. From right now, actually from an accident that I just had, I want to do music. I want to write music, and I want to keep doing theater. I want to even do commercials with kids. The kids taught us how to do, or have been doing, social justice commercials, like how to have your confidence water to get rid of the different kind of discrimination.
Yes.
So changing the world through art.
Okay, Tori?
Well, growing up, I always wanted to be an actress, and so that was like my main goal. I just want to be acting. I want to be in plays. And then I took this Theater for Social Justice class, and now I feel like I want to be an activist, and I want to be using theater to do community-based work and be doing activism.
We need some activism, a lot of it in this country. You know, someone has been running around saying America's not great anymore. We need some activism to say it never did change. It's still America. We're still great. We're still number one.
Here.
I like that activism. Savannah, what would you like to be?
So there's a few things I want to be. An actress that's my passion. That's how I got involved with this. I've always loved acting, so film and television. That's one side of something that I'm working towards, goals. And then on the other side is social justice. Growing up, my dad had been the president and still is of multiple nonprofit organizations. So I grew up going to Uganda, the Dominican Republic, Jamaica, doing lots and lots of service work.
Here's those 3 E's we talked about: education, exposure, and experience.
Yeah, so that I want to continue doing that, using your talents and the art and creating new things to go out and change the world through art.
Yes, because the world that you ladies, because of your age, you're coming into a different world now. Our world was a little bit small. Back in our world, we had a television screen that was that big and was in black and white. Now you got computers, you got all this high technology. You could do so many things now that we didn't have a chance to do back in those days. Now, what roles will you be looking for specifically?
Specifically, dramas with comedic elements.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, there we go, with comedic elements. Okay.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I don't have my things as figured out as you do. Any work I'm able to get, comedy, drama, anything you can bring to me.
Okay, Daniela?
For acting, I'm still new to doing my part of the acting, but anything where we can spread the word of the good message.
When anybody ever thought about becoming a director, or is it too early to think about that now?
Yeah, I'm actually really into directing. So I
Okay.
directed a few plays for the New Works Festival at LMU, which is New Works student-written plays, student-directed, performed, produced. So I really love directing now, and I love directing the kids too. So now I'm thinking about, directing adults and also like at middle schools and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, I like being in control of things
Okay.
and being able to
Nothing wrong with that.
use
And you're
my
good at it. You
creativity,
all are.
yeah.
Savannah?
I think as far as the roles go, I love acting. That's just what I'm passionate about. But I think facilitating is a better word. Facilitating, being behind the scenes as far as social justice work goes. As far as the middle school, I did enjoy directing them and helping them out.
Because actors these days and actresses, they have to sing, they have to dance, they got to play instruments. They got to do it all.
Yep. You got to be, what is it,
A triple threat.
triple threat.
A triple threat. You got to get out there and pick up that machine and keep on going.
Yeah.
Any favorite directors that you've worked with or would like to work with?
Oh gosh.
I mean, those are two different questions.
Yes. Yes.
Well, favorite director, Quentin Tarantino. He really, the messages in his films, he's with the social justice.
Yes.
He's awesome. So that's who I love and look up to. As far as working with, I had the opportunity to work with Tori, and she directed me in a scene, and she's an amazing director. Even watching her with this project, she's awesome. So I have loved working with her.
When you're directing a scene, what do you do with the person that you're working with? Do you ask them to go through it one time? You explain to them what you want them to do, right? Take us through from there.
Oh, okay. Well, I like to be up like on our feet from the beginning. I don't like sitting down at a table for too long and really, like, I've been in plays where we've been up on our feet from the very beginning. Savannah and I were actually in a play at LMU with Chris Anthony, who Norma mentioned, and she was very much like, she was asking us questions and getting us to think about the roles and then just having us get up and do it instead of kind of drilling us on how she wants it done. She wanted us to find that ourselves, and I some students I feel like maybe had trouble with that, but I really connected with that, and I like just being able to get up and play and kind of find my way. So we weren't like drilling blocking and things like that. We were just trying to find the characters and find like the message of the piece. So that's how I am trying to work.
Because we get a lot of people of young age who watch this show because they want to get into acting, they want to get into directing. They have to understand, first and foremost, you got to have support from your family and friends.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that, please, Dani?
Yes. Actually, before I'm starting to work with this amazing group of women, I had never looked at directing as something I would want to do, and seeing them work with the kids and seeing how they put together just stories from some of the kids over here, stories that we already had coming from Norma and other actors, made me realize that directing is something I would want to do because we can bring together everybody through it.
Yes. But how about the support you get from your family and friends?
I could not have done that without them. They are the ones that keep me going. I mean, obviously everything is to change the whole world, but without them, they're the ones that are closest to you. They keep inspiring you and tell you, remind you why you're doing it when you're about to give up because you're stressed or you let all the little things get to you.
Dani, can you tell how the whole Corona family, not to mention dozens of other volunteers that you brought in, helped with this project?
Oh, yes. I am telling you, they helped me not only keep my head straight, but help with little things to helping with the kids' snacks, to helping get the papers done.
Right.
So
the little things.
It's the whole teamwork.
Yes. Yes.
Our families live, they weren't able to be super hands-on with this project because they don't live here, but her family came and was hands-on with the project. I mean, the days really leading up to the project, from her dad to both of her sisters to her sister's boyfriend to literally everyone. So her family is amazing.
I had a taster for a little while. She was a student at my class at Santa Monica College, and the same spirit that you're talking about that she exhibited for you guys, she did the same thing for us.
Yeah, and she
She's
also
a
had
Draco
another big
student.
role,
Yes.
which was translating everything into Spanish
gosh.
and speaking with the parents because a
Yes.
lot of them didn't speak English, so
Right.
Savannah and I weren't able to communicate. So every week she was making phone calls to all the parents to remind them of the workshops, and she was translating the newsletters into Spanish. And even up until the day of the performance, when we were doing our introductions and our post-show discussions, we would, be talking English, and then she would be translating into Spanish, and
Yes.
that was a huge part of it
Yes.
that we weren't able to do.
Gracias.
Yeah.
Broadway. Anybody got their mind on Broadway?
I don't actually.
don't.
For Broadway.
Yeah.
You want to keep local theater?
I think for theater, local, and then television is what I
Okay.
really love.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Because I heard something the other day that hurt my heart. I haven't been to Broadway to see Hamilton yet. That play is it's off the hook.
Yeah.
And the lead guy who started everything, they tell me he's stepping down. He's moving on to something else.
Oh, wow.
And I'm sure that's going to affect ticket sales because people come to see him. When you're an A-lister like that, they really want to see you. But when you go on Broadway, yes, you had something to say?
Oh, I was going to say never. Hey, we might end up on Broadway.
That's right. You never know. You never know. Who's your favorite actors or actress right now? Let's start with you.
My favorite is Jon Stewart. He's inspired me in so many ways, from using comedy for social change, which actually Norma is teaching a class using a lot of Jon Stewart work. So Jon Stewart, definitely.
Oh, why don't you go next? I'm trying to think. The names are blanking.
Man, I'm not sure if you're familiar with who Lena Dunham is.
No.
Lena Dunham is the writer, the producer, the creator, the lead actress on a show on HBO called Girls. And I mean, she, as far as activist goes, she is the top notch. Like, she addresses issues that people are scared to address, I think, in television shows. She addresses them, and she addresses them head on. And I think being a female and creating your own show and acting it is so awesome. So that's probably my favorite
Okay.
actress.
How about you?
So I love Naomi Watts, Michelle Williams, and Naomi Watts' husband, Liev Schreiber. I'm watching the show Ray Donovan with him in it right now, and that's really incredible. So, yeah.
Are there any limits to what you're doing that you could do, ladies?
Any limits to what we can do?
Any limits?
Well, we have to say no, right? We can't stop ourselves.
Can't stop.
Well, think about how you've got the young people you were working with to go beyond their comfort zones and
Yeah, we got to talk about the kids, man. The kids that we worked with, were amazing. We were just reminiscing about the first time that we were ever in the room together and introduced each other's names. You could hardly hear some of them even introduce their own names to the final performance, especially for the friends and family. I mean, we watched a full transformation of people. We watched people, go from kids to really just men and women, I feel like, really. So, yeah, there's no limits. There's never any limits. No.
Limits.
Yeah.
We taught them there were no limits, so we have to live that by that ourselves.
Now, I understand you recently won the Hidden Heroes Award.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
Well, we'll be receiving the award in October. We just found out that we were awarded it, which is really cool. It's basically just an award for people working in social justice that are kind of doing behind the scenes things that maybe aren't really recognized too much for their work, and so we're really excited about it. My family's coming from Massachusetts to come see us win the award, so that's really cool.
Wow.
And our Norma Bowls, I mean, this is all because of her. She's the one
Yeah.
who nominated us for the
Yeah.
award, so we need to thank her for that.
Oh, I was asked to. I was put on the spot. They are an amazing group of women
I can
in
see that.
terms of being incredibly hardworking and dedicated, brilliant and talented, and the sweetest, most collegial, warm people you could ever hope to work with. And that's across, among ourselves, with the youth, with principals, teachers, parents. Just phenomenal, the kind of community they created in the classroom and in the workshops.
Yes, makes their parents very proud of you.
How would you
Very
describe
Yeah.
the community in the room where we were working with the Southeast kids, the magic of it?
Oh, it was, I keep saying it was a magical experience because I was able first to see how the kids' stories came to life from the beginning of them sharing and being open to sharing their bullying stories about bullying, some being the victims, some being the bystanders. And from there, even just them adding their gestures, sounds to their monologues, bringing it to life, seeing the whole process of it was truly one of the best experiences I've ever had.
On the last day, right before our final performance, we did this exercise called back talk, and what they had to do was their theater teacher taught us this exercise, but everyone taped a piece of blank white paper to their backs, and then everyone had a black pen, and we put on music, and we weren't allowed to talk, and we walked around and wrote compliments about each other on everyone's backs. So you did it anonymously, and there was about 30 comments just on people's back about beautiful things about each other, and everyone was so excited and willing to do it, and it was such a beautiful experience that really showed that we became a community and that these kids were there to support each other, and these were kids that most of them didn't know each other before this, and then at the end of this they're all friends, and they're like so willing, and they were so eager, like pushing each other off to get to the back first to write a nice compliment, and that was really, really cool.
When you have experiences, it changes you. When you stop and think about it, we're educators, Norma and myself, and when you look at the definition of education, the definition is nothing more than a change in behavior. That's all it is. When you're a young baby and you haven't yet learned how to walk yet, your world is very short. And then when you've learned how to walk, your world gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You've got the formal education, now you put it into practice. But then comes that moment when you have to stand up there on that stage in front of people. Tell me about that first moment, please.
Oh, yeah. That moment is, I mean, now I've been on both sides of the spectrum. So that moment as an actress is nerve-wracking but exciting. It's amazing. But that moment as a director is a completely different feeling. I mean, that moment when you have worked and worked and worked on this piece, and you've seen the work, more importantly, that these kids have put into this, and that moment where they're finally up there and they're leaving everything on the stage is, it's indescribable. Yeah, there's nothing like it. It's priceless.
Yes,
It
yes.
takes so much courage too, and to think about they were addressing bullying and discrimination to their peers, and that took a lot of courage. So it wasn't just a play that, you know, a regular play that they got their characters and their lines, they memorized them, and they were going out. They shared their own stories, and they created this play, and then they went up there and shared it with their peers. And middle school students can be pretty brutal to each other, and that's a lot of the reason why we started working with them. And they performed for almost 750 middle school students at their school. Yeah.
Stage fright, they call it.
Well, doing some of the theater exercises really got me out of my comfort zone, and when I started seeing how the kids got out of their comfort zone, it really showed how they grew from the whole 6 months that we were working with them. But I think we can all grow from just being on stage.
Sure.
Yeah.
Because as an actor or actress, your job is to get those emotions from the public, your audience. When you go to a good play, you can sit there and wipe your eye a little bit. You can laugh, you can joy, you can do all kind of stuff, all because of an actor or actress.
Yeah.
You've got a tremendous responsibility.
I'm thinking of a few young people in particular that you helped blossom. VRM. I'm not going to say their real name.
I'm saying.
There was one student. Can we say names?
I'd leave the name out.
Legal things, you know. Yes.
And from 1 week to the next week, she told me how she took Savannah's suggestions on how to direct her own monologue. And we saw how she grew and performed her heart out by using just gestures to give more drama to her story and show how discrimination is, she said, getting hurt sucks. Those were her words.
Good.
Oh my goodness, you haven't seen it yet, but we read her post-show response or do you remember what she said about it?
Yeah, she said that this program was a way for her to get out all of the anger that she had inside.
Good.
Being able to act on stage. Yeah.
Channel it creatively.
It would get rid of a lot of violence in the street. I mean, a lot of people just, all you're trying to do, as Rodney King says, one of my favorite things, I just want to get along with people.
Yeah.
That's all I want to do.
Can't we all just get
Can't
along?
we all just get along?
Yep, theater is such a great outlet for any type of emotion that you have.
Wow.
Yeah.
There's, even though this is a film town, there's a lot of theater in this town.
There's a lot of theater.
Oh, I love that. It's always a play to go to. The Alliance.
Yes,
Always
there
something
is.
to do.
True.
Oh, one of our young people has said that he definitely intends now after this project to move forward and become a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
And he's got it.
Yes.
Yes.
And another woman asked me about doing the sound and music for the play. Now she's interested in doing it someday.
Yeah.
And she's only 12 years old.
Only 12. With a long future ahead of her.
And you're an inspiration because you had never run a show before and you created all the sound
Yeah.
cues and ran them perfectly.
He did.
With a lot of help from everybody, but it reminded me how music and sounds bring a play also to life.
Yes, they do. They bring it to life. It's so important. Every aspect of the theater is important. It's crazy. There's no small job.
Right.
You need everything. That's the beautiful thing about theater.
I love to go backstage and watch the curtains and how they move the bags.
Yeah.
I said, wow, what a world. I didn't know that.
I know.
Because we're backstage looking out at the audience where we do 180, they're looking back at us. And you ladies get out there on that stage and you do your thing. How do you want to be remembered?
I think that I want to, man.
A little early in the career, I understand.
A little
I understand.
early. I think I want to be remembered as someone who was always honest with herself and with the others around her, and who gave everything, her all the time.
Yep. You're there.
I think I want to be remembered as someone who's really kind and loving and who just takes their time to really get to know people and like make small differences, you know? Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get a little cheesy with this because I just saw a Gandhi quote, and it's be the change you wish to see in the world. And I wish to always live by that because we all know what we're capable of, but we just got to keep going, you know?
Yes, got to keep going. Well, ladies, I'm going to take a moment here if you don't mind. Can I take a moment here? Tori, for you, Valerie.
Thank you.
Savannah, for
Thank
you.
So
And last
sweet.
but certainly not
Very
least,
sweet.
Merci.
ladies, I have really enjoyed today. And, you know, you all come from different families, different backgrounds, and you're products of your families. But some lady sitting at this table touched you. That lady right there.
She is.
That lady
And
touched you.
these young women
Ain't that
have
the
utterly
truth?
transformed my life and the lives of the kids at Southeast Middle School.
Oh my gosh.
And Miss Tar,
Yeah.
that theater teacher, is magic too.
Yes, she is.
Get her in here, boy.
Give me a telephone number. We'll bring her in here.
She's amazing.
Please, we got a couple seconds. Give me that email again for people to make donations and contributions.
Bless you. Norma Bowles,
BOWLES.
yes sir, at earthlink.net, or you can go to our website, cootieshots.org, like the book we got, cootieshots.org, and you can find out how to email me through there in case you forget. So just think cooties.
Yes.
Got to get a shot so you know that they're not real.
Ladies, any final thoughts before we get out of here today?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, my
Thank you
pleasure.
for
My
having us.
pleasure.
This is awesome.
My
It's really
pleasure.
fun. This is the perfect end to
thank
our
you.
project.
Yeah, really.
Thank you.
Thank you for being such a
Dani,
gracious,
thank you.
amazing
We gotta get
host.
you back again. We gotta get you back again. We get a lot of individuals that come over and see us, but this has been a great day for us, and we're very, and thank you for setting this up. This
Yay,
afternoon.
Dani.
Yes, you sent Dani, you set
How
it
could
up.
I not tell you about them?
Yes, she walked over to me at the class over at Santa Monica College. She said, "Mr. Brewington, I have something to tell you." I said, "What you going to tell me?" She's like, "It's about this thing I'm doing." And that started right there. About this thing.
Perfect. Thank you, Dani.
Yeah, of course.
Ladies, thank you all very. Oh yeah, and can you talk about that, please?
That's the photo of our writing
Okay.
and acting and crew from Southeast Middle School.
All right.
So proud.
Yeah.
Soon coming to a television near you.
Ladies, again, thank you all very much, and to our audience, I always say, "Hey, we'll see you next time," and thanks for stopping by.